Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to find your perfect sensitivity in the finals. Now, to start us off, there are a couple of important factors you're going to want to consider before we jump right into picking a sensitivity for you that's personalized to you. Now, these things are, of course, going to be your mouse, but also the DPI of your mouse and your mouse pad. So I'm going to break these things down really quickly, guys. Just bear with me, and we're going to jump right into finding a sensitivity. So the first thing is your DPI. My DPI is 800. So for example, this is important because if you're looking at my sensitivity, but your DPI is 1600, that means you're going to want to divide my sensitivity in half to know what is the equivalent for my sensitivity to yours. So just keep that in mind, and also keep in mind, this varies, so it's fine. But the more important thing, in my opinion, is going to be your mouse pad. So my mouse pad is about 1.5 feet long. I would pick it up and show you guys, but it's about 18 inches, which is quite wide. Probably wider than a lot of your guys' mouse pads, maybe not, but just consider that, because if your mouse pad is smaller, say half of that size, maybe like 9 or 10 inches wide, that's going to mean you have less room to work with, so you might consider a higher sensitivity. Also, in this game, the finals, you are looking around quite a lot, right? You're running around, you might be going up a rope or going into a room, and where you need to be like looking around like a lot, right? Or you get shot in the back and you need to turn around quickly, and you need to be able to do that, right? If your sensitivity is not high enough, then like you see how quickly I can turn around here, I can quickly find the person behind me instead of trying to like have to swipe my mouse like 8 times, right? And so just keep that in mind. You don't want a slow sensitivity necessarily, but you also don't want an insanely fast one. But keep in mind your DPI and your mouse pad size. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to show you guys my settings really quickly. I'm going to break down these few settings that we have here. First is obviously mouse look sensitivity. Mine is 30, again at 800 DPI. And now how I like to kind of configure this from one game to another is look at some point on the wall or somewhere, anywhere, it doesn't matter. And you're going to put your mouse on the left side of your mouse pad, and you're going to do one full swipe. So let's see if I can actually show you guys here. So I'm going to put a little dot right here, and then I'm going to do a full swipe. Try to keep your mouse as straight as possible when you do this. And you can see I'm basically doing one full 360 and a little extra. So you see I start right here, and I'm trying to keep it straight as possible. I go about this much extra. So, I don't know, like 370, 380 degrees, not much more, but this is important because this is how I usually set up all of my sensitivities in other games, right? So whenever I'm playing an FPS game for the first time, this is how I set up my sensitivity. For you guys, I would just, as a general guideline, try to be able to do one full 360 with however your mouse pad is. So if your mouse pad's smaller, obviously that means you're going to have to raise this sensitivity up just a little more from here. But yeah, so mouse zoom sensitivity is just this here, right? So you can see mine's a little slower. That's at 100%. Now, if you do not like this and you want it to be the same as whenever you're hip firing, or whenever you're not aiming down, you can just turn off mouse focal length sensitivity scaling. Don't ask me what that means. I think it has something to do with FOV. But if you see now, if I do a 360 here and I do a 360 while zoomed in, it's the same. It's the exact same. But I've already adjusted to this. And then here, the last setting is invert vertical look output, which I don't use. And so yeah, guys. Now, how do we find our perfect sensitivity? This is going to be, I'm going to break this down just a little bit more for you guys. So here we have a bot, and this is what I like to use in various games to find the ideal sensitivity. So basically, we have the sensitivity, you're playing around with it, you don't know if it's perfect, but you're going to say we come to about this distance from the bot. I'm going to flick from the right to the left, and try to flick right near the bot's head. Try to be in like this kind of radius around the bot's head, and see how close you can get, right? You can go from farther and farther, even farther, or you can do close. Close is easier, right? So no shame if you can't hit some crazy flicks. This game is not all about aim, but it is an important component. So you can see now I'm going to go from the left to the right, and you can see I'm getting pretty close because this is a sensitivity I've been playing on for about 21 hours for this game, and I've been playing games for thousands of hours, FPS games. So my aim's pretty on point here. Also, you can go from above to below like this. You see, I'm not always perfect. You're not always going to be a perfect aimer, but you can get pretty good. So let's say, though, for example, your sensitivity is not the same, and you notice yourself, you're consistently flicking past the bot's head like this, right, or something, or you're consistently flicking under the bot like this, right, or like this, over and under, over, under. So if you're over flicking like this, right, you're flicking past the bot's head and you can't really help it, there's two things you can do. One is obviously lower your sensitivity. So go back into the settings here, lower your sensitivity. The second thing is be mindful of how much you're flicking, right? So if you're consistently doing like the same thing like this, and you're consistently going right past this rope, that's actually good because you're consistent, but you're just not accurate, right? That means you need to be flicking a little bit less. And so keep that in mind, right? It's not always about changing your sensitivity to find the perfect sensitivity. Sometimes it's about the mind-mouse connection. So yeah, guys, the last thing I want to say here in this video is make sure that you're not constantly changing your sensitivity. It's okay to tweak your sensitivity here whenever you're first picking a sensitivity for this game and you're like, okay, I'm flicking too hard, my sensitivity is just too high, or my sensitivity is just too low. But once you go through that initial phase, right, of picking your sensitivity, you're really gonna want to kind of choose that and stick with it for a little while at least, like as in like a few weeks, and kind of let your brain and your hand, your coordination adjust and adapt to that sensitivity. Because the problem is what I know a lot of people do in FPS games is they're like, okay, I need to do this, or okay, I need to do this. Oh, I missed my shots. I need to go here or here. How about this? How about low? How about high? I don't know, right? No, stick with whatever is basically like a full 360, or if you want to slightly slower or faster than that, that's fine, but stick with whatever you want, right? Stop blaming your aim on your sense. This is a very common mistake that people make in FPS games, so I would just highly recommend not doing that and just trying to stick it out with whatever sensitivity at whatever DPI you're at. It's gonna be very beneficial in the long term. So guys, if you have any questions or guide suggestions for this game, I want to do some tier lists, stuff like that, let me know in the comments down below. But that's going to be all for this video. Pretty straightforward, simple, hopefully short enough for you guys to be very impactful. But if you have any questions about sensitivity, DPI, anything like that, let me know in the comments down below. Again, I actually have a Pro Superlight, favorite mouse of all time. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. And peace. Have a good day.